What's going on, everybody? Andrew Thompson here of the Andrew Thompson Interviews YouTube channel. Joining me today is a man who is known as the Suplex Assassin. He is an MLW talent, and on top of his work in MLW, you've seen him on the independent scene in places like Action Wrestling. You've seen him at PCW Ultra recently. This is the man himself, Alex Kane. Alex, what's going on, boss? How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm ready for this interview. We're gonna have ourselves some fun.
Yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. Like I said at the top, man, you have been a lot of different places this year. This has been an eventful 2021, I think, for you. Even though we're in the midst of a pandemic, things have still kind of been flowing a little bit for you. Maybe things in 2020, like for everybody, it started off a little bit slow, but things have really gone pretty much straightforward for you in 2021. Have you had the chance to really sit back and think about what you've done this year, or have things just kind of been a breeze?
Uh, Kind of been a breeze. Like nothing's really. It hasn't really like hit me like I think it should.
Mm.
Um, it's been, but it definitely has been nuts. I didn't think I would be where I am as fast as I guess as fast as I got here. Because like with the pandemic, like it sucked, but I feel like it was also like the best thing to happen for me. I don't know if that sounds bad or not, but
No.
like it really like propelled me. It really helped like propel my career in the right direction.
Mhm. And
Um,
oh, you good?
like with like wrestling like shutting down for that time or whatever. Like I've always said, like it kind of with not a lot of places running, it kind of put the spotlight on the places that were running because everybody wanted like some kind of wrestling, and some people were doing like no fan shows and stuff like that, or like before like we really got locked down. Like people would run like small shows and like streaming on like YouTube and stuff like that. Um, and that's actually like kind of how I got discovered by Scott Hensley.
Mm.
He saw me one night at Pro South Wrestling in Piedmont, Alabama, and I didn't know he was actually there. I thought he had like saw it on YouTube, but he was actually there,
Mm.
and like he invited me to do the Future Showcase that year, 2020, and like that's like really where like my career like started to like take off.
Mm. And I noticed like you wrestle often. I sometimes see you like consistently in the South. Like I see you
Mhm.
in Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee sometimes. Like you from that part of the country?
Yeah, I'm from Georgia.
Okay.
It's weird. Like before the pandemic, I didn't get much love in Georgia as far as like
Mm.
getting booked and stuff. But like after that feature showcase in Tennessee, like I'm a regular, I guess you could say action wrestling star at this point, but like I'm like a regular like there. But I'm also kind of picky about like where I work. Granted, because like I feel like if you're not in a locker room with guys that are better than you, you're
Mm.
not getting better. Because iron sharpens iron. So like where I have been working, I'm being constantly challenged because I like a challenge.
Mm. You mentioned action wrestling. Like I've seen you quite a few times there. I think you just finished up a tag tournament there recently, not too long ago. It's
Yeah,
a type of
yeah.
tag tournament, action wrestling. Like I know they're like a real staple on the Georgia independent scene. I
Mhm.
try to catch some of their shows when I can. But I know earlier this year you had wrestled with O'Shea Edwards, and I know there was
Yep.
like a good amount of build going into that, a lot of hype going into that.
Mhm.
If you can recall, like what do you how do you think that match turned out, considering sort of the hype that went into it and the excitement that was surrounding it?
That I feel like that match for me was like my coming out party. Like I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like I was building steam, but like that match, like kind of like I tell O'Shea all the time, like that match kind of like made me.
Mm-hmm.
Um because like before like we were like talking or whatever, and he was like, I'm gonna push you to that next level. Like I'm gonna make you wrestle at that next level. Cause like wrestling at that next level is like is the pacing's different, the movements, the selling, all that stuff is different at that next level. And that match kind of like definitely like put me there. So now I can take that and like help other guys coming up, like even though I've only been wrestling for 3 years, like help other guys like reach that level if they can
Mm-hmm.
hang.
Like you know what's crazy about it? Like I was just about to mention that, and I'm glad you said it. You brought it up. You have only been wrestling for 3 years, and but the thing about that is, So sort of like I want you to kind of like sort of assess yourself a little bit, like because I think everybody has seen your trajectory over the past year alone. But like from when you started back in what was that 2018 you started?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
just kind of assess your growth and sort of hit on the points that you think that you could improve on, and some of the things that you also feel like you have greatly improved on over the past several years.
I can definitely like you can always improve on ring psychology. And it's gotten a lot better for me, like knowing where to put things, how to do things, where to move fast, where to slow down. Um, uh, what else? I think my promos, like in the ring, like I don't I don't necessarily practice promos every day or anything like that, because I'm more of like a feel it in the moment kind of guy.
Mhm.
I feel like those are the best, not trying to force it, but like just letting it flow, whatever
Right.
emotions that are there. But I mean, you can always get better at those. A presentation, like when I first started wrestling, I was wearing like the regular like shooter singlets or whatever, like
Mhm.
the ones you would see in like a high school match. And then it's actually funny. I met O'Shea at the Future Showcase,
Mhm.
and we got to talking, and I was asking questions about like how to present myself better, how to like how to like change my look. Cause like before that, I was like, I'd never be a boot guy. Like I really like the wrestling shoe look.
Mhm.
But he was kind of like the boots make you look official. And like me being the shooter that I am, like you have the boots, you get like a better looking singlet that kind of like opens everything up. So you look bigger. Cause like the shooter singlets, they kind of like close everything up. Like
Mhm.
you're like, I still look big, but I didn't look as big as I do in the singlets that I wear now. Um, uh, and then like also just the amount of knowledge that I've gained like over time wrestling in this time, like I always try to like pass that down to other guys. Like um I hear like a lot of like of my OGs or like just like older guys that have been doing it for a long time, um saying that they kind of wish wrestling was like it was 15 years ago. And I don't know what it was
Mhm.
like 15 years ago. But I like where wrestling is going, because like it's not like you got to like protect the spot or whatever. Like it's more of there's enough space out here for everybody to eat. And
Mhm.
if you put in the work, um, that you can achieve just about anything.
Mhm. Yeah, and you mentioned sort of the sort of the shooter type style. Like one cool thing that I remember that you did earlier this year, you I think it was for Paradigm Pro Wrestling. You were like in there like it was like UWF type
Yeah.
style tournament type
Mhm.
thing, and I was like, I know that's probably like right in your wheelhouse. So kind of sort of reflect on that a little bit, and talk to me about that experience and being able to use your amateur wrestling background and incorporate that into the pro wrestling setting, while that pro wrestling setting sort of being focused in on the amateur wrestling style and the grappling style.
So UWF explained it to me, because it was weird. It's coming in, it was a weird concept.
Mm,
But it's like it's less of like the pro wrestling antics of it.
right.
It's more of like it has more of like a boxing type feel or whatever.
Mm,
And like I guess the match is more of a
like point
I want
system type thing.
yeah, point system.
Mm,
But it's like you don't get points for like doing stuff. You lose points for like taking stuff. So you can come in or whatever, you get 15 points. So you can come in and like you can like take some offense, but you don't get thrown or knocked down or anything, you don't lose any points. But if you
mm,
throw the other guy a couple times or whatever, he can lose all of his points.
mm,
Um, but it was really, really cool. Like the way the I guess when any of the things you did back in college or high school or whatever, as far as the wrestling goes, it's a sprint.
mm,
So like I've seen a lot of guys do the style matches, and they try to make it pro wrestling esque, and it kind of kills it.
mm,
At least for me, like they were just like you got like one or two high spots to get to there as quickly as possible, and make some magic happen, because like the periods again are 5 minutes, and like you don't need in like a fight you're not going to be wasting much time trying to whip somebody off or put somebody in the corner or whatever. You're gonna try to take them down and knock them out as quickly as possible. So that's what really made it cool to me.
Mhm. And sort of going back to your early days in professional wrestling, it was several years ago, but
Mm-hmm.
like you trained at the AI Fox, right?
Yep.
At the
The man.
the WWA4 school in Atlanta. I've asked this question several times in past interviews, man. Like, do you feel like AI Fox is one of those guys, one of those talents that has really been underappreciated over the years? Like, it's still kind of crazy to me, and I've seen this very often on social media, and a lot of people agree that it's kind of crazy that he hasn't been sort of had that national television run yet. I know that's not
Mm-hmm.
everybody's goal, and I'm not going to like lump
Yeah.
him in that and be like, oh yeah, that's what he wants. But I think a lot of people are of the mindset of like, how has this guy not been at this position yet or on this level yet?
Man, like I want to say like a month or two ago, like every week within that month, I would post like sign AR Fox or AR Fox should be like on national television. Like I mean, because I know that's his dream or whatever.
Mm,
He wants to be on that stage. And like and for him to help all of us the A4 kind of realize our dreams. Like I always say, like getting trained by AR Fox is like getting the My Career Starter Pack, which is his video game or whatever. So it kind of puts you ahead of like guys that have been wrestling for years because like he doesn't waste your time. Like he's wrestled everywhere, he's wrestled everybody, so he has like all of that knowledge on top of his own. So like it really is like having a booster pack, but like I definitely think that he should be, whether it's just like a few dates or even what would be best I think would be like a full-time contract, but
mm,
whichever one it is, he deserves to be on the national stage. Like he's been everywhere, he's wrestled everyone. He's given so much to wrestling, and I know wrestling doesn't owe you anything, but
right.
I think that like he at least deserves the opportunity.
Mm,
Like there's so many guys that are wrestling at that next level that he's helped get there. They've had their best match or they've had that match right before they got signed. Um, like it would be like, I know it would mean everything to him to be on that stage, and that's where he deserves to be.
mm. Yeah, it would be cool one of these days. Like I was thinking like one of these days when the AEW does one of their TNT title open challenges, we just see Al
Uh-huh.
Fox graphic pop up on pop up on the
Yeah, that'd
screen.
be
Yeah,
nuts.
it'll be crazy, man. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will go crazy for that too. But like so sort of staying within that WWA for school room, I know they used to have like events like early on, like they used to do certain shows here and there. And I
Mhm.
know like early on in your time there, you had a match against Lee Johnson, who's currently in
Yeah.
AEW right now.
Mhm.
Is it kind of crazy to look back a few years ago and to know that both of you were kind of just getting started out, and then now look at what you both are under contract to wrestling organizations? Is
Mhm.
that something that you sort of like look back on and you be like, damn, like we kind of came a long way?
Yeah, I remember one day at training, we were just sitting down talking or whatever. I think it's it was before AEW became like a company. It was just an idea, and we were talking about like where we would want to go.
Mm,
And I didn't at the time I didn't know of MLW, but like we were saying like, yo, it would be really dope to wrestle in AEW, um, or WWE, whichever one. And like I remember him saying like AEW was like where.
okay, so before me and Mr. Alex Kane had our technical difficulties more so on my end. We were talking about the WWA for school in Atlanta, Georgia, where he trained under AI Fox. And then, of course, I mentioned that Lee Johnson. He also had Alex had some a very very early match in his career with Lee Johnson while they were both getting started out. So Alex, like, has it been kind of crazy to sort of look back and think about what you and Lee have accomplished since those early days, since 2018? Both of you have gone on to sign contracts with wrestling organizations. Of course, Lee being in AEW and you're with MLW. Is it kind of crazy to go back and think about some of those moments, some of those early days with Lee Johnson, and how far both of you guys have come?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, like I guess like I said in like the other recording, like uh we had like a conversation like I think like a day, I think it was the week of the match that we were gonna have, and just like talking about how like where we want to go, where we see ourselves or whatever in a couple years. and like for that couple years not to be like 5-6 years or whatever, it could literally be like 2 or 3 years, to be signed, to be signed at AEW and MLW, is pretty nuts. And I think it also serves as like motivation for the guys coming up to know that like it it doesn't always take 10 or 15 years. If you got it, you got it. Like, and I feel like those things aren't, I don't think that, I guess like those intangibles can be taught. Like again, you either got it or you don't. But like it can be, I feel like it can be worked on. Because I guess a lot of it is like how you present yourself, what opportunities you take, what opportunities you don't, like being in the right place at the right time, always bringing your A game. Like I always tell like the young guys, like, don't try to do everything that's cool. Try to find like 4 to 5 things that you're good at or whatever, and do those things. Because like we think a lot about like move sets and stuff, and like Fox always says the moves don't actually matter. And when you really think about it, they really don't. It's more of the moments, it's more the in-betweens. And if you're in betweens and if your in-betweens are good, like as far as like your facial expression, your selling, your character work, how you carry yourself, if those things are good, like that's going to put you ahead of a lot of guys. A lot of guys just want to go out there and do all the cool, crazy stuff, all the dangerous stuff. And like you don't necessarily need those things to be good at this or to get over it.
Right. And something you mentioned, like it's like something that doesn't, like, as far as making it in professional wrestling, it doesn't always take a decade or 15-year plus to get ahead. I think that's also something that the current generation of wrestlers really benefit from, is that social media is around, and it's like very prominent, and a lot of people are on social media. Like all it takes is for one person to see you, one clip to go viral, and then maybe you catch somebody's eye over here and then they want to bring you there, or it can go either way. And I think that's a really cool thing, especially for this current crop of wrestlers, that everything isn't so codependent on one specific thing. You can easily market yourself on social media and then quickly make a name for yourself, and not even have that many sort of, I guess, be featured in many promotions. You can just be a social media presence and then gain your following from right there.
Yeah, like there are promotions, like I always try to tell people, like, find the promotions that have like a good like fan interaction, or a good social media presence. Like those are places that you want to be. Those are places you want to work to get on. If you're trying to like make it in this business, there are some guys that just do it for fun, or they just do it as a hobby, and like kudos to those guys too. But like if you want to make it in this business, like you have to be seen or whatever. You have to get the right eyes on you. And like the crazy thing about social media is like you're being watched by more people than you think that you're being watched. You may have 2,000 followers, but like you may be being watched by like 30 or 40,000 people or whatever. Just seeing your stuff on different people's timelines, or certain people retweet your stuff. So that's also something to keep in mind. Where was I going? Where was I going? But just like I guess the best thing you can do is like, again, like apply yourself, like, and like always be asking questions. Like there's so many guys in the locker room or whatever, like that have so much knowledge. They've done so many things. Like just ask questions, be a sponge, be coachable. Because like there's certain things just you can't learn in a wrestling ring. There's some things you can only learn by asking questions. And like with the knowledge that I have within 3 years, like I'm always like, again, like really, really open about like asking questions or giving critiques where I can give critiques. But I just want to see anybody who is willing to put in the work to, try to be the best. Because I feel like that's what we all want to be, is the best. And I'm willing to like kind of like give what I know or whatever, because I want to see everybody win or whatever in some capacity, if that's what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. And like, man, so sort of talking about your style of wrestling and how you mix in like a variety of different things. Like you got the ground game, sort of got the amateur wrestling style mixed in there as well. Like how did sort of the collaboration or you being a part of American Top Team come about? And like what have you sort of gained from that? What have you sort of given to them? And of course, I'd be remiss not to mention American Top Team owner Dan Lambert, who's having a run of his life right now in pro wrestling, man.
So I wrestled in high school and college.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew when I first started training in professional wrestling, like I wanted to incorporate that. Because like, I mean, you got Kurt Angle, you got Brock Lesnar, you got Bobby Lashley, you got Shelton Benjamin, all those guys or whatever. But like, as far as like the independent scene, like you have guys that have backgrounds, but for some reason they don't use them.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm definitely gonna have this with like in my character, and I kind of want to base my character around it. Um, so like Fox was like really, really huge on that. Like he would always be like suggesting like me to watch people, or he'd always show me something or whatever. Because for him to not have like a mat wrestling background, he's really, really, really good at mat wrestling, really, really good at chain wrestling. So to I guess like kind of have that influence there is also great. He's like super, super creative. And like I try to think outside the box, outside the box, but also within the box or whatever, kind of mix the two. When like coming up with like different sequences and like different ways to grab something, different ways to get to certain things. And then with signing with MLW and like Dan Lambert like negotiating my contract, like that was pretty awesome.
That's cool. That's cool.
I should be going to train at the Top Team facility in Atlanta here in the next month or two. I'm trying to me and King Mo are trying to like arrange like everything so everything runs smoothly. But having King Mo in my corner is like the greatest thing ever. Like I always say he's like the uncle I never had. He's just like our chemistry is insane. It's like we've known each other for forever. And he's like super knowledgeable as far as like presenting yourself, what to say, what to do. Like he's always anytime we meet at like tapings and stuff, like he's always showing me something new, some new hold, some new way to get into something. So that's really, really dope. And then like just talking to him on a daily basis, it's been awesome. Like I never would have thought, like seeing King Mo in like TNA like years ago, and then like being like having his number in my phone today is insane to think about.
Yeah. You want to know what's funny? I had recently saw a clip of both of you from the MLW Twitter account. I think it was from the recent set of tables, or it was from a fusion episode or something along those lines. And someone had, I think it was an interviewer, I want to say, or another wrestler had walked past y'all, and while they were going to the back, and then both of y'all had made this funny face. Y'all did it like in sync at the same time. Like who the hell are they think they y'all? It was funny. So I can kind of see that both of y'all have that kind of on-screen rapport and off-screen rapport, because you can always tell when two people are working together and they're tight or they're cool off-screen, because it just naturally transitions on screen.
There should be a few promos that'll air in the next couple weeks.
Okay.
And like, that we just had fun with, like especially like in-ring promos. Like we had one
that was from the Fightland tapings, right? That y'all just had.
Okay. Fightland tapings. Cool. What was it? We were in the ring with Cesar Duran, and I'm over here trying to get him to honor my alternate spot. And I'm like, what did I say? I said something along the lines of, you better I guess like honor me being an alternate, or I'm gonna set this bitch off with Jada Pinkett. And like the crowd went nuts. And I can't wait for that to air, because that was just a lot of fun. Like and again, like he's always like feeding me ideas. Like I can say something and he'll think about it for a second. Like, oh no, you should probably say this, or say it like this, or say it in this sequence or whatever. So working with Mo has been a lot of fun. I haven't had a chance to meet Dan Lambert since he like negotiated my contract, but like that I'm waiting. I'm ready for that day because from what I've heard, he's a really, really cool guy. He's really funny, and he's also again like super knowledgeable.
Mm. And I think it also helps that you have somebody as far as Dan Lambert goes, he's clearly invested in professional wrestling and enjoys professional wrestling, and he's openly stated about that he's always been a fan. So I think that's another cool thing because not everybody, but there's a lot of fighters involved in MMA who is like they do not like professional wrestling in the slightest. So it's cool to have someone who like owns an actual MMA organization or MMA team that's very invested in. I think that's a cool thing.
Man, I saw an interview with King Mo on YouTube, and like it was crazy for him to say that pro wrestling is a lot harder than MMA.
Yeah,
and no matter what you want to say, it makes sense. It makes sense because like we're on the road constantly. We're constantly doing these matches or whatever. MMA, like you may fight maybe once a month or whatever. You may be training all the time, but you fight about once a month. So for somebody to come from MMA to, you know, like really like give us like as pro wrestlers like our props is pretty dope.
Yeah. Now, you want to know something that you just said. So I wanted to hit on two things that you just said as we were just talking like the past 5 minutes or so. Like, more, and I'm gonna get to the other thing first because I don't want to forget it. But the MLW, like, with like as far as you guys' promos and stuff, like you mentioned, like it sort of sounds like you can just be free, and it's not necessarily like, hey, you need to say this or you need to say that. Is it kind of like a thing where like, hey, I need you to hit on this, and this, and however you get to it, that's how you do it?
Yeah, it's kind of like they give you bullet points, but you don't like, and they have them written out. They have the bullet points written out. Right. They're not like you have to say it like this. They're more like this is kind of like the gist of where we want you to go with it. But we want you to say it in your own words, which is really awesome. And I wish that in other companies that it was like that for like the performers and stuff, because like being able to say it in your own words, and because like being able to say it in your own words in your own way, I feel it makes it a lot more relatable than like regurgitating somebody's typed out lines. But yeah, we really do kind of have like a good bit of freedom with what we say, because like we're all professionals. We know not to say like anything stupid or anything like that, but like there's ways to say things or whatever to get whatever like heat or whatever praise that you need to get, without like being an a-hole.
Right. And so sort of going back on what you were talking about as far as MMA and professional wrestling, like the difference is, man, like I don't think there's a true way to really train your body to do what professional wrestlers do. Like as much as you guys do train, and I don't mean that in the sense of like, you know, just the in-ring stuff. I'm talking about like your body legitimately taking that beating probably 4 nights out of the week. Like that is not something that your body gets used to. And like I've even heard wrestlers talk about how their body or some of their body, they build up like callus around. So it's like that extra layer of like protection, like that's, you know how insane that is, that your body like does that stuff.
I think for me, I've been playing combat sports since like a young age. So I'm kind of like, I don't know, like I'm kind of like used to like taking like a beating or like taking like damage. So
yeah, like a high pain threshold.
Yeah, high pain threshold. So like for me, like I think the hardest thing for me was like learning how to fall like without like killing yourself, and like getting those basics down, because like throwing yourself to the ground is like your body's like, what are we doing? No, this
is not natural.
Yeah, this is not natural. It's some of the most unnatural stuff. I guess the most natural bump to take is like falling forward or whatever, because you can kind of trip and do that. But to throw yourself backwards, nah. But like, I mean, like over time, like your body gets used to it. I think another thing that people don't really think about is like hitting the ropes. Like I don't hit them often, because of my style, but like learning like how to run the ropes or whatever. Like people think you see like new guys get in there like on their first day of training, and like they do it and they're like, oh, this is way harder than I thought. It looks so easy and like seamless or whatever. But there's a technique to it, and there's definitely a right way to do it. Because you don't want to take too many steps or whatever, because you do that too many times in a match, you're blown up. So you want to like take the least amount of steps possible to get to where you're trying to get to. But yeah, like if you don't hit the ropes wrong, they will hurt you. Hitting them at first, like they do like leave like bruises on your back, because it's not a rubber band, it's steel cable. Some ropes are like real rope, but I like the steel cables more in my opinion. Yeah, like I think almost every aspect in some way, shape, or form, whether it's like mental or physical, pro wrestling is painful.
Right. And sort of going back into MLW, man, like yeah, back in May, they had announced that you were one of the draftees in the open draft, and you confirmed that you had signed with the company, signed with the organization. Like, walk me through sort of the steps or sort of the mindset that you had that was like, okay, this is the place for me. I'm going to sign here, and I'm going to be here for the foreseeable future.
I've always liked, from like what I've seen from like the new MLW, I like how everything is presented. It's presented in like it's presented kind of like the UFC in a sense, just with like a pro wrestling twist to it.
Right.
There's not a whole like all that. A lot of the Gaga stuff is cut. It feels it really MLW feels like anything could legitimately happen. Like it feels like Raw used to feel back in the day. Like anything could happen. And then the fact that they have like so many guys, it's kind of like a variety show in a sense. Like they got luchadors, we got MMA fighters, we got we got like wrestlers, we got pro wrestlers or whatever. We kind of got a little bit of everything. So like you can kind of like I think we're hitting like every like demographic that's needed, and now we're adding a women's division.
Yeah.
So like with and just like even now, like before I didn't really know anybody there, but like just like talking to the people like in the office or whatever, and like being able to ask like questions and not like be like shamed for asking any question. Like there's no stupid question. The stupid question is it's a question that isn't asked. But like it was kind of like, I guess, going into my signing itself, like I was checking my email one day. Like I was just checking my email and I saw an email from MLW, and it was like, yo, were you ever interested in wrestling for MLW? And I was like, hell yeah. Because like in like 3 months ago, 3 months before that, I did an interview, and the interview was like, yo, like if you could go anywhere, where'd you want to go? And I was like, MLW, because it's like it fits my style. And like for like then 3 months later, like I get an email, and like I mean like the contract negotiations and stuff was really easy, because they kind of took into account that I'm young in the business,
right.
And like but like when we were talking about it, like there was literally no downside to me signing or whatever. It was all upside. Like being 2 years in, having a contract from a major company, no pun intended, but to have a contract from a major company, this early in the game for me, like it's only going to like increase my reach as far as like social media and stuff goes. Like I've gained so many followers, so many fans, like and so many people watch the product. The people come to shows and be like, yo, I saw you in the Battle Riot. Yo, I saw your debut. Like this shit was nuts. Like you fucking rule. Like I'll vanity search myself sometimes, and I think everybody should.
People try to act like they.
People try to act like they don't, but they do. Like I vanity search myself on Twitter sometimes or whatever, because like everybody doesn't tag you. Some people just type your name. So to search myself and then like see like all the people that don't tag me but they're still talking about me, it's really 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 cool. It's really fun to do. Like if you have like when we do like the IWTV live streams or whatever, and then like after your match to go like and look and see what people are saying, it's really dope. And then like the one thing that I really do appreciate is that like they weren't like, oh, we're gonna sign you, but like you can't work anywhere else. Like they were as far as the independents go, like they were like, yo, we still want you to work the independents, we still want to get your name out there, we still want you to make your money, which is really, really awesome. And then we had the Vice TV deal. We got Fight Now. We've always been on YouTube, Be on Sports. So there's so many places for people to see all of us. But in this context, to see me.
Basically what I was about to mention was like you got a title opportunity coming up real soon at the War Chamber show. And
it's my first ladder match ever.
Yeah,
first ladder match ever. And I remember saying like earlier in my career, I was like, I'm only gonna do these crazy stipulation matches when I'm being paid the money, whatever. And now I'm being paid the money, and now I gotta. But I'm nervous or whatever because I'm always nervous for like a new match type. But I'm also like extremely excited to be in there with fucking Alex Shelley. Like,
yeah.
What? I used to watch this man on television, and now I'm in the same ring with him. And then I don't know. We still don't know who this damn wild card is, and I really want to know who this damn wild card is. But yeah, I'm excited, and I'm definitely going to become national openweight champion. I'm going to say that right now.
And to say it's crazy because I know you just wrestled Hammerstone at the PCW Ultra Show, and he relinquished the national openweight title so he could focus on the world heavyweight title. So it's only right that Alex Kane is next up, right? It's only right.
It's prophecy. That's what it is. Prophecy. Me, Alex Shelley, Myron Reed, Zenchi, and some wild card. We still don't know who this wild card is, but it doesn't matter who the wild card is. I'm gonna throw everybody out of the ring on their dome. They're all gonna hit this concrete like that, and then I'm gonna climb up that ladder, take what's rightfully mine, the national openweight title, and I might sit on it for a little bit, just to carry it around, let Hammerstone like hold on to that heavyweight title just for long enough, and then when he least expects it, I'm gonna swoop in there and get that title match.
There you go. But Alex, man, something that I really wanted to talk to you about, something very important within professional wrestling, to me and to you, I'm sure, representation, of course. We're seeing over the past several years or so, we've just seen this like real uptick in professional wrestling with a lot of Black talents being featured in marquee spots. And I think that's a real cool thing to see. I think it's beneficial to everybody involved, man. And also it's about damn time that we started seeing a lot more representation in professional wrestling. I think there are a lot more ways to go. I don't think we're like all the way there to where we need to be.
There's definitely lots of ways to go.
Yeah, it's definitely still ways to go, but I'd be remiss to like say that there hasn't been progression. There has been, and primarily not, but more so, we're seeing like a lot more representation in these independent shows. Like I think that's another cool thing. Like, and of course we're seeing it in some televised wrestling promotions, and we got the Impacts, the Ring of Honor's doing a great job with diversity. Like they're making strides in WWE and AEW over the past several years or so. But like just from what you've seen, primarily just from being on the independent scene, like seeing some of your colleagues, man, get to the marquee spots, including yourself. What has sort of that been like, and like what are some of the things that we can do to sort of push things forward?
Oh man, it's been awesome. Like growing up as a kid, I had, as far as like guys like in marquee spots, I mean, I had like R-Truth, The Rock, Booker T. I mean, Ron Simmons was before my time, but just like guys like that, like to see that like people that look like me can be at the top of the industry was awesome. And I definitely feel like there's still room for more. I was talking to AC Mack about this Sunday, and I feel like we'll know that we've made like significant progress when it's normal, when it's not a shock, or it's not when it's not like a constant topic of conversation. Like I know some fans get mad when Black people talk about how we would like to see more WWE champions, or we would like to see somebody in AEW at like the top. But like it should be black wrestlers or black wrestlers. Black wrestlers being at the top of the industry should be as normal as a white wrestler or Samoan or Latino. It should just be normal. It shouldn't be like, oh my god, this happened. Like
right.
it should be like, oh my god, this happened. Like we're happy for this guy, but it should be a normal occurrence. It shouldn't be something that we have to like constantly tweet about and stuff like that. There was J Rose, Seahawk, and one other creator on Twitter created the hashtag Black Wrestling
the Black
Draws.
Wrestling Draws. Yep.
And that's it's been nuts. Like to have it trending on Twitter, like I think it's been like 3 or 4 times already.
Multiple times.
Like that's crazy. But like again, like I'm glad that we have it, but in a way, it shouldn't have to be a thing. We shouldn't have to, as a community, like have to like push the talent that looks like us into that position. It should be
the people who are in those positions. Right. I get what you're saying.
The companies to push them into that position, because like if you're talented, you're fucking talented. If like I said before in the earlier video, if you have it, you have it. And that doesn't matter what it shouldn't matter like what skin color you have or whatever, because like contrary to popular belief that a lot of these wrestling companies apparently have, Black people watch professional wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Like I feel like we may be one of the biggest, I mean, outside of like the majority, we may be one of the biggest like demographics that watch professional wrestling. I think. I don't really know the numbers on it, but I think so. So to have that and to not cater to that would be insane. Like I was talking to somebody else about like with like Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. Like I honestly do not think that like little girls want to be Charlotte and Becky Lynch. I don't think that. I really don't. But I know for a fact that little Black girls want to be like Sasha and Bianca. Like I've seen so many videos on social media of like, especially when Bianca won the championship, of little Black girls crying, like literally crying to their parents, like, oh my God, this happened. Like I can be that one day. Like I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it right now. But like that's huge. And like these companies need to get out of whatever thinking that they used to think in 20, 30, 40 years ago, 50 years ago even, and realize that like we can carry companies. We can we can definitely like I heard people try to like disrespect Kofi's reign and say that he wasn't a good champion. I'm like, what is being a good champion isn't like, I don't even know the metrics of that or whatever, because when Kofi was getting, or they were doing the build up to WrestleMania, like Kofi Mania went nuts. That they went crazy. And like for them to end Kofi's reign the way that they did was mad disrespectful. And then they did the same thing to Bianca. And like I know a lot of people will be like, oh, you can't think about it like that. I'm like, there's a pattern or whatever. And if you're paying attention, you can see that pattern. I always see the pattern. I see the pattern now of like, I'm happy that Big E's champion. I'm happy that Bobby won the belt or whatever. But like they do these things. I feel like they almost do some of these things or make some of these decisions to kind of pacify us or whatever and make us be like, okay, we did it or whatever. You can shut up about it now. I'm like, no, we're not going to shut up about it now. Until it is a normal thing for people that look like me to be at the top of whatever company they're in or whatever, we will continue to talk about it. And you can be uncomfortable with it. You can be mad about it, but it is what it is. You should be pushing, you on the outside of the community should be pushing for the same thing. There should definitely be that, that semblance of equality within professional wrestling.
I think it's the thing of the people who are running the show or maybe writing the show. Like they are sometimes most of these whiting rooms or most of the people making these decisions are white males. And I think
Yeah,
is it's specifically like not diving too much into WWE because there are I do want to kind of spotlight there are other companies out there who are doing a good job at showcasing that diversity. Like I mentioned, the Ring of Honor, you have an Impact Wrestling who's doing a good job of inclusion as well with incorporating focusing on their women's division. But like specifically talking about just black professional wrestlers is a thing of like when you have these writing rooms and they're full of white males, it's impossible for them to relate to the experience of a black athlete or a black talent. It's just hard for them to do it. Like they can try as best as they can be as open-minded as they can, but they will never truly understand what it's like to be black. So that's why I think it's important to have black people and black voices like in these writing rooms, in these creative spaces, maybe as a producer or maybe just even like what's the word, like a liaison or something, like somebody like, hey, do you think if we say this, like like you need to have somebody there to be like, maybe catch you in one of these moments to be like, maybe we shouldn't say that. Like maybe we shouldn't hop on that.
Definitely.
So to just let you know what's right. And but it's simple, what's right and what's wrong. And I think that's very, very key. And I think a lot of organizations should try to just mainly bring black people into these spaces so we can help you out and make things smoother.
Yeah.
And make things smoother for everybody involved. Yeah.
The amount of conversations that I've had with people that have wrestled in WWE that are African American, and to hear from them, like there are no black people in these writing rooms, or none. And like when white men try to write for black athletes, they either go to a stereotype or they just mess it up. Like it only gets good when you just give that talent the reins to do what they want to do with their character. The Hurt Business, amazing. The New Day, I don't care what anybody says, the New Day is amazing or whatever. Like they took a weird preachy gimmick or whatever that Vince wanted and they created something completely different. I think they still had aspects of it, which is fine because the black church is huge in the black community. But they made it their own, and within that they got over, and then they also got more leeway from the company or whatever, because I mean, again, it's a money-making business, and they started making the company a lot of money. Apollo Crews, like before, when he was in NXT and like when he got to the main roster a little bit, he was just athletic and he smiled a lot or whatever, like, but he didn't have something like concrete to like really like sink his teeth into. But now he really is like he really is like the African tribal chief at this point. Whatever, if you really think about it. And his tribal chief is way cooler than Roman Reigns' tribal chief. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says. But like now he has something that he can play off of and like he can build on. Like even when Bobby Lashley first started, he was just a monster or whatever. But like there was nothing other than him being a beast. There was nothing for him to like really like latch
sink his teeth
into. But now he's with the Hurt Business. He's almost like a fucking mob boss at this point. I mean, I know that like MVP is the mouthpiece, but he's almost like he's almost like a boss now. Like it's really cool to see. And it also gives something. It's also going to help like propel, because like factions. I think what a lot of people don't think about is like factions are created to propel the people within that group or whatever. Like Evolution propelled Batista and Randy Orton. So like, and then like the Hurt Business right now is propelling Bobby Lashley, and then at some point, hopefully, it propels Shelton Benjamin. Hopefully, it propels Cedric Alexander.
Hopefully,
hopefully. The New Day has propelled Kofi,
all three of them.
Now Big E, and now Xavier Woods, the King of the Ring. So like it would be cool. Like I hate like when they it always feels like, I mean, I know they do it with a lot of factions, but it always feels like they do it exactly with black factions where, oh, the Nation of Domination propelled The Rock. So, and it feels like with black factions, they always break them up for some from some stupid reason. Like if someone's going on a singles run or whatever, like they break them up for some dumb reason. Like when they broke up the New Day, there was no reason to break up the New Day or whatever, because you know what they did? They found their way back to each other anyway. I feel like teams don't always need to break down in some weird way or whatever. Like you can be a team. One guy can go off for this title here, another guy can go off for this title here, or two guys can go off for the tag titles, but like you all bring it home. Like, and I hope to see Hit Row is going to be awesome. Like it's going to propel Top Dollar. I hope it propels every one of them to a top spot. And I feel like they need to, I mean, more teams need to be created. There needs to be, and there definitely needs to be diversity there. Like before, like I started like wrestling with my tag team partner, Damian Tangra, like I didn't really understand tag team wrestling, but like now being in a tag team, it's like, yo, this is nuts. Like this, like there's so many stories to be told. And if the more teams you have, the better the stories can be.
Mm. Yeah, and sort of going back into your career recently on the MLW media call, as we're recording this is late October, and this was, I think it was early October when the media call happened. But Bauer has said that Alex Kane is going to be a big star in MLW, and I think that was for you, it had to be like a very, very, very cool thing to hear from the CEO of the organization that you're signed to have said that about you and proudly said it about you and loudly said it about you. But I'm pretty sure it was also a thing of like, okay, now I gotta really turn it up, because now he sort of put the not target on, I don't want to say target, but like he put more eyes on you by letting people know that, hey, you need to be watching Alex Kane.
So the media, like that was awesome. But like that wasn't news to me or whatever. Like when I signed with MLW, like I was like, I think the day that I was announced, like me and Court have been talking since then. I talk to Court on a daily basis. And like he always is really, really dope. Like he's constantly encouraging me, he's constantly feeding me ideas, different ways to move, different ways to act. He's really fun to collaborate with. But like he constantly tells me how special I am and how thankful he is for me to have chosen MLW to be my home.
That's what's up,
so
man.
Like
that's what's up. So, yeah.
It definitely wasn't news to me, but it definitely does. Like when like he first like messaged me, like it definitely lit a fire under my ass. Like, yo, like I'm about, like you really, like you got to turn it up, and you always got to bring it. And that's what I try to do every single time I step through that curtain. Every time I step through that curtain or whatever, I'm trying to bring it or whatever, trying to like keep that level up. Because to have your boss like believe in you like that is huge, because not everybody gets that. For
him to say it publicly,
for him to say it publicly is also huge. But to like when somebody believes in you and somebody can see somebody sees something in you that you may not even see yet, is pretty surreal. So like for him to be like, yo, this guy's gonna be a star or whatever, like and like I don't go around saying like, oh, I'm a superstar or anything like that. Like I'm really humble about it, because like I know that like this can be taken away from me at any point in time. But I am definitely thankful to be in the position that I am, and if I can help other people get to this point or whatever, like that's like a goal of mine. So yeah, definitely. Court's a genius. I'll say that. Court, he's earned the name like wrestling, like the young genius or whatever, but he really is a genius. That man is extremely smart. He got some really, really cool stuff coming up.
Cool. So a name that you just mentioned while you were speaking, and I wanted to talk to you about him, was your tag partner, Damian Tangra. Like, I saw some of the videos that you guys put out, like and see, this is what I enjoy about your work is like, while you are legit as far as your background goes, and you could be like Mr. Super Serious 24/7. Like I seen some of these videos, like you wearing like like you were wearing like the things around your neck, like the things that give you like in the airport or something like that when you go to another country or something. You wearing like the glasses and like just a random tiki shirt or something like that, and just showing your personality. And I think it's clear as day that you understand there's an entertainment aspect of wrestling as well. Like whether people like agree with it or not, bro, wrestling is part entertainment, and then it's also about just what you can do in the ring. Like it's also I think to have both is like the complete package, and it's clear that you see that there's like an entertainment aspect to it. So like talk to me about how important for you it is to have that balance. And while yes, you do want to present yourself as legit in the ring, you want to present yourself as a threat in every which way possible, but also you want to have that sort of like, hey, I got range, like I can do the funny stuff too.
Man, I always hear people talk about how they don't want like wrestlers who are comedic to be world champions, and I mean, you can have your opinion, but I think that's the dumbest thing ever, because I believe to be a successful world champion or successful champion, period, or just successful in any entertainment business, you have to be relatable. And nobody's angry all the time. Nobody's pissed off for no reason all the time. Like, again, like you said, you have to have range. You have to have layers to your character, because even though your character, like I've separated my character from like my everyday self or whatever, which has really helped me. But like you have to have layers to it. Like there has to be layers that people, that like everybody that like watches you can like connect to. And if you're just one way all the time, like you're not gonna go very far. Like in my honest opinion, you're not gonna go very far. You gotta like, even though you're legit, you have to learn how to like laugh at yourself. Like Tom Lawler is hilarious. Tom Lawler can legitimately beat anybody's ass, whatever. But he has layers to his character, because I believe that every character, though we're like these superheroes to like a lot of people, like we're like our characters are still people,
right?
And people are mad, people are angry, people are happy, people are funny, people are depressed, or like all these things or whatever. So within your character, you have to find those layers to your character or whatever, so you're not just one thing. I know I'm kind of going in a circle a little bit.
No, I get what you're saying.
And for me, like again, like I have a personality. I like my parents, when I was a kid, they were like, does this boy shut up? All he does is talk. Like he just talk. And like that's my personality. Like, and I like to inject as much of that as I possibly can. So like in 1 second you can be like super serious, and the next second something could happen, you react to it, you're like ha 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 ha, that was funny. And that happens in some of my matches. Like I'd be like ready to go, and then something happens, like, whoo, that was hilarious. Like I pop myself. So like you gotta learn how to laugh at yourself. You gotta learn how to have a little bit of fun. Like again, I hear people talk about Big E sometimes, and they're like, oh yeah, we want serious Big E, and I'm like, why? Like, I mean, he got over to an extent as serious Big E, but he got way more over as Big E with a personality, like showing who he actually is in real life. And I think what a lot of people don't get. Hold on, I'll be right back.
We were talking about like wrestlers just having range and not feeling that you need to be this super serious character 24/7. Like it's okay to have that sort of comedic thing and sort of let people in on who you really are as an individual. Because like you said, you had to be relatable, and like you were about to go into Big E, and I've been saying the same thing for quite some time about Big E. Big E should never change what got him to the dance in the first place. Like he can be serious clearly. Like we've seen Big E do the serious that he can be serious when he gets in the ring. He's serious in the ring when he wrestles. That's serious.
Yeah,
Big
that's
E right
the thing.
There. And then
like,
when he's off screen, you get the comedic stuff, and then you not even comedic stuff. He just got a personality, you know.
Yeah, like Big E, like again, he's relatable. Like, but like when it's crunch time in a match, like he flips that switch and like there's no more games or whatever. So he may come into the match like happy go lucky or whatever, but then when it's time to go, like it's time to go, and like that's how you have to be. Like as far like when you're out like not wrestling or whatever, like as a character at a show, like again, that's where the layers come in. Like, yeah, you may come to the ring, you may be but like you get into the ring or whatever, and you're like I have fun. Like I feel like everybody should be having fun. Doing you're doing what you love to do. You should be having fun doing it or whatever. And when in those moments you have fun, and then like when something happens or like you need to like go to that next level or whatever, you go to that next level and you kind of cut that stuff out. But like you don't want to just be one way. The Rock, no matter what, no matter if he was a heel or a baby face, he was always entertaining on the mic with anything he said, anything he did. A lot of the moves that he did, the people's elbow, come on now, the people's elbow. It was hilarious. But I mean, he got it over as like a serious move, but like it was hilarious. And like and look at where the Rock is now. I mean, super entertaining, like had layers to his character while he was wrestling, and now the man is one of the highest paid or the highest paid actor in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me that I need to be serious all the time for what? For who? Like I when we go back to representation, like I feel like enough little Black kids see the angry caricature of Black characters. They see it all the time in movies, TV shows, all that or whatever. And to not and like and then to always portray that at a wrestling show while these kids are watching or whatever, they can't get into that. And I don't care whether I'm a baby face or a heel. If a young Black child comes up to me and wants a high five, I don't care what role I'm in or whatever, I'm giving them that high five. I'm taking that picture. I'm signing that autograph. Because the little kids is like they were, especially at that age, they remember everything. And like if I give them a bad experience or whatever, that could, I wouldn't say scar them for life, but like that could like put a bad taste in their mouth, and I don't want that. But like again, like dudes just need to learn like there's a time and place for everything. Like you can't be one way all the time. You gotta know when to switch it up. Like the promos that me and him did on Suge, which kind of got the Suge and Kevin Ryan that kind of got the most like traction. Like that was probably the most fun I've ever had doing a promo, because it was just kind of like we're gonna learn to laugh at ourselves and just.
So quick side note, Alex, before we wrap it up, I know you just celebrated a birthday, man. So happy birthday to you. Happy belated birthday to you. So like if you were to set a goal for yourself by your next birthday, what would you say that goal would be, or even one or two goals, so you don't have to specify one? Just two things that you hope to accomplish. Not even just a professional wrestler, but maybe a life goal. Maybe you want to work on a certain area of your life, or maybe you want to do this or do that. Like, what would you say is something that you're looking forward to accomplishing by the time next October rolls around?
I've been actually thinking about like getting into like a trade. So I definitely want to get into something in that avenue as far as like just like life goes, and then like as far as professional wrestling, like there's levels to the independent, and I feel like I'm near like the top, but I want to get to like the top of the so that's definitely a goal of mine by my next birthday.
Cool. So ladies and gentlemen,
even bigger name on the independent.
There you go. So before we get out of here, Alex, man, go ahead and please plug all your social media, plug your YouTube, your merchandise store links. I'm gonna make sure to plug everything in the description of this video.
Please go buy my merch on prowrestlingtees.com. have some really dope shirts on there. Twitter is Alex_Kane11. Instagram is the Suplex Assassin. Don't find me on Facebook. That was always funny for me. What else? My YouTube is just Alex Kane. It makes it easier if you just type in Alex Kane Wrestler. I might change my my name on that. Watch my stuff on IWTV.
There you go. There you go. There you go. And Twitter and Instagram.
Twitter is Alex Kane11. Alex_Kane11, and Instagram is the Suplex Assassin.
There you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Go follow them, man. Go support him. Go buy up all his merch. Go support Alex Kane. He is next up.
Get on the bus now. Get on the Alex Kane train now.
You got to get on it now before he get the national openweight title, man. Because he might already took off by then. But Alex, I do want to thank you for your time. For everybody that's watching, I appreciate y'all sticking around through the connection issues. Y'all probably won't be able to tell because this video gonna be edited as hell anyway. So there you go. There you go. But Alex, man, thank you for your time. I appreciate you being so patient, even with the first two connection snafus, man. And it's greatly appreciated. You were a great interview host, a great interview subject, man. And I'm looking forward to doing another one. Maybe I'll catch you in person one of these days, and we could do a on-screen in-person video interview.
Hells yeah.
There you go. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Andrew Thompson at Andrew Thompson Interviews YouTube channel, signing off with Alex Kane, and we are out. Peace.